Lucille Ball was more than a television star, she was a cultural force, a woman who broke barriers in comedy, production, and entertainment at a time when very few women were given the chance to lead. For decades, audiences laughed at her mischievous grin, her physical comedy, and the unmistakable spark that made I Love Lucy one of the most influential sitcoms in television history. But in the final years of her life, when she appeared in what would become her last major interview, fans were struck not by her humor but by her vulnerability. By the late 1980s, Lucille Ball was in her late 70s. Though her spirit remained fiery, her body had begun to show signs of the decades of pressure, overwork, and relentless dedication she had poured into her craft. She had achieved everything: global fame, groundbreaking success, multiple shows, and a legacy that even then was unmatched. But time had softened her. She spoke more slowly, she moved more carefully, and beneath her trademark wit was a tenderness that few had seen before. In her final major televised interview, often remembered for its emotional undertone, Lucille sat with a mixture of grace and exhaustion. She was reflective, thoughtful, and at times deeply sentimental. Interviewers asked her about her legendary career, her iconic red hair, her pioneering role as the first woman to run a major Hollywood studio, and her unforgettable partnership with Desi Arnaz. But it was when she spoke about gratitude, aging, and the fleeting nature of fame that the mood in the room changed completely. Lucille talked openly about the sacrifices she made during her early success. She admitted that while fans saw perfection and laughter, she had been fighting to balance work, marriage, motherhood, and overwhelming expectations. When she spoke about Desi, her great love, partner, and source of both joy and heartbreak, her voice softened. Though they had divorced decades earlier, Lucille never denied the profound impact he had on her life. She once said, "No one will ever replace him," a statement that carried even deeper weight in her final interview. But what truly brought people to tears was her reflection on the audience that had supported her for more than 40 years. Lucille believed that her life had meaning because people found joy in her work. She confessed that laughter was her greatest gift to the world, and that the world's laughter had, in turn, kept her going through the hardest times. When she said, "I just wanted to make people happy," the room fell silent. It was rare to hear such simplicity from a woman who had achieved so much. Viewers also noticed how fragile she seemed. Her hands trembled slightly, her eyes were heavy, and her words carried a depth that suggested she knew she was nearing the closing chapters of her life. There was no self-pity, only honesty. Seeing a woman who had always radiated unstoppable energy now speak with such gentle vulnerability was almost unbearable for longtime fans. The interview ended not with jokes or wild stories, but with a quiet thank you. Lucille expressed her appreciation for a life beyond her wildest dreams, crediting her audience for allowing her to chase those dreams. It was a farewell wrapped not in sadness, but in profound gratitude. Just months later, Lucille Ball passed away, leaving the entertainment world in mourning. But her final interview remains a reminder of the woman behind the legend, a woman who loved deeply, worked tirelessly, and gave laughter to generations. And that is why her final interview left everyone in tears.